Daniel Hernandez, also known as 6ix9ine, thought he was untouchable because he had the biggest gang in New York behind him, but he didn't realize his own homies were actually the ones planning to end his life. It all started when 6ix9ine was at the peak of his fame. He was dropping hit after hit and beefing with everyone on the internet, but behind the scenes, things were getting messy with his crew, the 9 Trey Bloods. You see, 6ix9ine was the one bringing in all the money, but his manager Shotty and the rest of the guys were starting to get greedy. So 6ix9ine started feeling like he was being used, and he eventually decided to fire his entire team. But if you ask me, firing a whole gang while you're still living in their neighborhood is a recipe for disaster. So just a few days after he fired them, 6ix9ine was driving home from a music video shoot in the middle of the night, but out of nowhere, a car bumped into his from behind. Now 6ix9ine thought it was just a regular accident, but then 2 guys jumped out with pew-pews and snatched him out of the car. They forced him into the back of their vehicle and started driving him around, telling him they were gonna end him right then and there. 6ix9ine was literally crying and begging for his life, telling them he'd give them whatever they wanted. So the kidnappers decided to drive him to his house so they could grab all of his jewelry. We're talking over $700,000 in chains and watches. But the crazy part is, while driving to the house, 6ix9ine managed to jump out of the moving car and escape to a hospital. Now, most rappers would have kept quiet and handled it in the streets, but 6ix9ine was like,
I'm definitely snitching.
So when the feds came knocking shortly after, he decided to tell them everything about every single person in his crew. So 6ix9ine went from being the toughest guy in New York to the biggest snitch in history. But do you think he was right to snitch after they kidnapped him?